Thanks, and thank you, Fiona, for the presentation. And then thanks for coming to the committee. I think this is really important that we get this strategy document right, and that the strategy for the department reflects the very significant challenges that are facing the country in terms of COVID, in terms of climate action and in terms of Brexit, but also reflects that we have a new government that is made up of three very distinct parties. And significant effort was put into agreeing a programme for government with shared objectives. But the department's strategy must reflect it. So I think it is important that we just don't have a business as usual, that we don't have just a refreshing of the previous strategy document, but that we do have a new departure, and that the new strategy document reflects the shared objectives of this government. I think it's really critically important that it reasserts the state's role in the provision of social infrastructure, in the protection of our natural resources, and I suppose in the engagement and serving of our communities in terms of local democracy. When I go through the last strategy document, and I'm presuming you're going to attempt to somewhat mirror the sections, in terms of housing, there was a specific question there about the referendum for housing, and while I accept that this is a strategy document, so it won't call out a date for a referendum on the right to housing, but it must make mention of the very clear actions that have been identified in the programme for government. There's over 200 of them, as you said yourself, that this department is going to be responsible for delivering. So the strategy must reflect that level of responsibility, but must also reflect that level of commitment. So in terms of housing, I think we need to call out, the strategy must call out that the state is going to reassert its role in the provision of housing, a referendum on housing, the provision of public housing on public land, the provision of affordable housing, and talk to, I mean, the previous document talked about, renting and improving the rental sector. We need something much more ambitious than just saying we're going to improve the rental sector. We must say that we're going to deliver affordable rental, secure tenures in sustainable homes for our community. Because if the strategy isn't ambitious like that, the delivery will fall far short of what people are demanding of us. In terms of planning, I think we need to have the planning section call out significant, important planning objectives around the planning for the Marines, planning for wind energy. The SHDs, we've all collectively agreed that that is something that has failed to deliver in terms of housing delivery. It did deliver accelerated planning decisions, that we welcome, but the planning section must need to talk to about improving, not just achieving efficiency, but actual quality in the planning decisions. And in terms of local government, there's a number of referendums mentioned, but local government is our key to our local communities and to citizens. So we must really champion local government in the strategy. The department must, over the course of the next 4 years and in its strategy, its ability to deliver for its citizens, its ability to actually deliver in terms of delivery of housing and planning. The Moorhead report and local authorities and our local authority members, they're the hardest working public representatives in the country. The department's strategy must call out a commitment to supporting our local authority members and working over the next 4 years to do that. Just in terms of water, it's a precious and finite resource. We all know that. We need to very much call that out in our strategy and identify how we're going to ensure that is asserted. And then lastly, heritage, I appreciate it's a new department, but it's a 50% increase in the department staff. So I'm really interested to see how we're going to incorporate heritage in the next draft strategy. And then two final questions, sorry, Chair. One, was there an actual evaluation done on the previous strategy? And if so, can we get a copy of that that identifies achievement against objectives? And if that document is available, could we have a copy? And what are the next steps? There's a target for this to be agreed, a strategy to be agreed within 6 months, which the clock is really ticking. So are we going to get a draft of it before it's published? Will it come back to the committee? Or how is that going to work? And thank you very much, Fiona.